Hello, we are back with Under the Golden Gate, and we are here with Ginger Murray, the editor of Whore magazine. Need I say more, right? And let's see what's in this magazine. Funny how I should just happen to turn to this. This gives you an idea of what's in the magazine. Why don't you start off by telling us what a whore is, actually?
Well, it's an interesting term. Obviously, it has a much more complex definition than most people think. Most people equate it with prostitution. That is unfair because, prostitutes, sex workers, that's a very specific thing. It's exchanging sex for money. Whores. Basically, we define a whore as anyone who pushes people's buttons, goes too far, challenges the status quo, wears men's clothes, dares to go out at night, unescorted, wears red lipstick and heels even when she doesn't have to.
9 out of 10 worked for me, except for men's. Am I still a whore? So, are you a whore?
I have been known to be a whore from time to time.
Yeah,
certainly.
Yeah, well, the obvious question is, tell us what the magazine is about and who is it targeted for?
Well, it's our sort of tagline is we attempt to give dignity to what has been scorned. So throughout the past, throughout history, and now, like I said, all those people who challenge boundaries tend to get condemned by certain groups, and so we want to tell the stories of that, explore them in greater depth, and give them dignity.
Oh, well, so it's almost like, in a way, is it kind of like what Madonna did in the 80s, where she was saying it's okay to be sexy, it's okay to, that kind of thing?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay to be sexy, okay to be feminist, okay to have your own different ideas about that. It's about women. We think that the culture of women is really, really interesting, particularly historically. There are a lot of women in history who are incredibly fascinating, who have never been talked about. Nobody knows who they are.
It's hard being a woman, isn't it?
It is very hard being a woman.
They have no idea. What do you think, Andrew?
Whinge. I'm a little offended.
So you're see, there you go.
That's because he's one of the Neanderthals. Well, clearly this is a very important topic to you. What motivated you to do this magazine is obviously a labor of love, but was there anything in particular?
Oh gosh, it was so many things fed into it, but including Simone de Beauvoir, Naomi Wolf's The Beauty Myth, the idea of women's magazines that are not about trying to sell you something or tell you that you have to be a particular way.
There's another one, spanking. But it seems like there's a lot of variety here. You got women who want to wear sort of their corsets and look proper, and then women who want to be naughty with very little on. So it looks like there's a big spectrum here. Is that right?
Well, because we feel it's sort of, as long as you're doing something because it is of your own volition and it gives you pleasure and joy and expression and strength, then by all means, go forth, have a great time.
Yeah, and how do you put together a magazine like this? How do you find all the content?
Oh, well, that's constantly a labor of exciting research and exploration, and we live in an exciting city, we live in an exciting world, and it's talking to amazing people, and, I love doing research. I'm such a dork about it. When I watch Hulu, during the commercial breaks, I actually pop over to another tab and do research about strange things. One of the most fun influences for the magazine was I started reading all the journals and these stories of prostitutes in the Wild West, the great age of the Wild, Wild West, and I was so struck, these were women, a lot of them who started businesses, they ran their own ranches, some of them were handy, with some pistols and a Bowie knife or some version of, and they were just sort of amazing. But in reading their journals, I was struck by how similar their lives were to ours now. Issues with dating and how do you do a marriage and life and career and strange things and, they changed, they adopted new identities and they took on totally different names.
I love that kind of stuff. I want to do that.
Exactly.
The unsung heroes of the Wild Wild West.
Yeah.
Do you do this stuff? Do you do the things? Are you a model as well? Do you get naked and spank other people?
I'm not a professional in that particular arena, though I do have a famous performance art piece I do with my own fake cock and nipples that feed people whiskey.
That's a great idea.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's quite
Single
fun.
malt?
Jameson.
Oh, you was Irish, right? Yes, of course. Yes. So and you had to raise money for this magazine. So you had to find do a budget and find an investor.
Yes, and publisher and advertising. Yes, we love advertisers. We love our advertisers. We take very good care of you.
So how did that change you when you had to actually go after money to do your art?
That was kind of it was a significant change, but it was interesting, and I'm thankful for it because I think that sometimes so much of art that's in the world gets not the recognition it deserves, and it doesn't spread as far and wide as it needs to because people are so I have no idea how to do this.
Yeah.
And certain things, they do take money, and that's just a fact. Print magazines require money, and print does have still a really valid role in our lives, I think.
So what's it like being you living in this San Francisco kind of drag world, and do you fit in or what?
I do. I have produced a lot of cabaret shows, and I love going and seeing all the different things that people are getting themselves up to. I've marched for sex workers' rights. I've hung out at trans symposiums. You know, as far as I'm concerned, it's like if you're a person who really believes in the rightness of life and people being alive and beautiful and expressive, then you want to go and be a part of all of it.
That's clearly what attracts you to it, yeah.
Yeah.
That's what San Francisco's about.
Yeah.
Apart from all these baby boomer
Yeah,
gentrifying trust fund baby motherfuckers moving in.
Yeah. Andrew, how do you feel about gentrification? And what do you feel about gentrification? Do you agree with him?
Well, I do. Gentrification is a big old issue. The sad fact is, okay, here I'm going to get intensely political. As long as we continue to live in a country that is based on the structure, not only economically, but sort of philosophically, of the kind of intense capitalism that we have, gentrification is always going to be a part of our struggle. It's going to come, it's going to go, things are going to, it's like waves. They come in, they come out. And so bitching about it, I think, is kind of like a big, huge waste of our breath. What we need to do is start examining more deeply what is the very structure that these things come from. And doing one little part that we can actually do is, like what they're doing right now with the sort of reconstruction project for 24th Street, is to help maintain some level of, you know, the sort of true blue culture of the neighborhood and support businesses and things like that. So create like some barricades around the like onslaught of gentrification.
Yeah, to slow it down a little bit. Maybe we can't stop it. Maybe we can slow it down enough. How long has bukkake been around, and what is that all about, and why the Japanese? Do you know anything about that, or like whores into that, or like, what is that all, what is that?
I don't know. That's, you know, I find that always, the whole, a bunch of cocks in your mouth, doesn't sound like fun to me personally.
Yeah.
But,
What you would
you know,
have it featured if other people were into it, right?
Absolutely. It would be sort of like, I would be very curious to talk to some people. Like, what is the, like, is it just this sort of gluttony of like, I just want it all, just give it to me all.
I hate my father kind of thing, maybe?
Yeah, I don't know.
And what is your favorite little kink that you like to, people like a lot?
Oh God, you know.
Or have we run out of time?
Yeah, no, I know. I'm a terrible poster child for kinksterness.
As usual, the people who like cook meth don't actually.
Yeah, exactly. I don't dabble in the product.
Yeah,
No,
that's right.
that's not true. I mean, actually, I think spanking is great. Spanking is fun. I don't know. I guess my biggest, I don't know. I don't really have a kink. It's really terrible.
I know.
I'm so
You
boring
got a
that
magazine.
way.
You got a magazine to put out. You got budget. You got publishing deadlines. You know.
Basically, I just like having an orgasm. That's really my biggest kink. And as a woman, frankly, that's one that could be, you know, you could spend a lot of time devoting yourself to that particular kink.
Wow, women are very complex.
Yes,
Appreciate that. Yes. And how do we get hold of you?
Oh, how do you get a hold of me? I am such a Facebook whore. Contact me on Facebook. It's Ginger Murray. Just come send me messages, send me articles, send me pictures.
And this is horrormagazine.net.
Horrormagazine.net, yes.
All right. Well, here we are with Ginger Murray at Under the Golden Gate. And thank you so much for coming on the show.
Oh, it was my pleasure.
All right.